Thanks to the Home Ministry and our Health Ministry, they have given a lot of relaxations to agriculture and allied activities. And fisheries being one of the allied activities of agriculture, they have given the relaxations in terms of movement of raw material, movement of finished products also, and movement of other inputs. And transportation, all these things, they are given certain relaxations, and our people have made use of it, and even the problem of the labor force. So initially around 15, 20 days, there was a lot of confusion in the month of April, and slowly we also, our officers also did a lot of efforts, and then due to all these things, now situation is back to normal. Initially, we only with 25% of the workforce was allowed. Then it has increased to 50%. Then now almost, I think 100% workforce is working. So that is one thing. And from our side, all our offices are working without any fail, without any stoppages. In the month of March itself, we started this process, and I'm very happy to say that these certificates have become digital now. So no exporter can need to come to our offices. They can online, they can log in, and then they can apply for our certificates. And our officers are started giving. One example I would like to give you is that certificate of origin, like certificate of origin to different states. Last year, entire 2019, we have issued around 115 certificates only. Whereas from 2020 onwards, month of April itself, we given almost 1,000 certificates. And in the month of May also, we have given around 815 certificates. Then if you come to the American market, they need a certificate called DS2031. So that also we made online, and the other certificates are being issued using an online software system. So that also has improved. We have made things easier for our exporters. So that's how, in spite of these restrictions and things, the trade has continued without much break. I have some figures with me. In the month of January, there was a reduction by 5%, and I'm talking about the entire seafood export from India. About 5% reduction in the month of January, and it has come down to less than 3% in February. But due to COVID, in the month of March, it has increased to 35%. So there was a reduction in our exports by about 35%, and April was even worse. It was 44%. But May, it was only 27%. So from 44% in April, it has come down to 27%. So that means there is some progress, some improvement in the month of May. And of course, June figures we will get only. June is still running, so we will get around 15th of July only. So we are hoping that the situation would definitely improve compared to May. Lot of infrastructure facilities we have to improve, and if we don't do that, then what happens is that the post-harvest losses, already around 20 to 25% post-harvest losses are reported in the country, and we are unnecessarily wasting almost 25% of the catch. Our catch is almost 36 lakh tons in a year. This is more or less stabilized now, and because the situation, we cannot improve the marine catch. Is almost stabilized and saturated now. So what we can do is that we can reduce the post-harvest losses at least by 10%. We have a lot of difficulties. Our vessels need modernization. Vessels need the cold chain facilities. So this is the thing. So we have submitted a proposal. MPEDA has studied this problem, and then submitted a proposal before the Department of Fisheries, and we said at least take about 10,000 vessels in the first phase, and you please sanction at least about 10 to 12 lakh rupees per vessel, and out of that maybe some part the boat owner can himself can invest, at least 25 to 30% boat owner can invest, in the remaining part the government, both central and state, can participate. and that kind of is proposal we have given, and it is under the active consideration of the Department of Fisheries. I'm sure something positive will come out in the near future. Once the catch comes to the fishing harbors, we have many fishing harbors throughout our 8+9, including Goa, 9 coastal states we have. So a lot of fishing harbors we have, but at least we have done a survey and then said, we understand that at least 50% of the catch comes to about 25 fishing harbors in the country. And these 25 fishing harbors need a facelift. They need to be modernized. Their how we organize, how we manage these fishing harbors. These fishing harbors also need a facelift, and we need to spend some money, at least about 100 crores per 100 crores per fishing harbor we need to spend, and more than spending, we need to manage these harbors in a professional manner. I mean, what I am suggesting is for one harbor in Cochin, we have a very big harbor in Kochi, which is under the Cochin Port Trust. So we have taken up the modernization of that, and then and we have prepared a kind of a DPR now, and then we are going to submit to the Department of Fisheries and for funds. So I hope under the PMMSY scheme, which was launched recently, they can sanction some amount. I hope they will sanction some amount. Particular study that E&Y is doing only for Kochi right now, and once we successfully launch that project, then I'm sure other state governments also will come forward, other port trusts also will come forward. Because the fishing harbors, there are two owners are there. So one is under the central government. The port trust own these fishing harbors, or other fishing harbors are owned by the state government, state fisheries department or state harbor engineering departments. So they own this. So my intention is, because we cannot take up the modernization of all the 25 fishing harbors, but at least one or two we would like to showcase, one or two we want to demonstrate so that others also will come forward, and then they can also do their efforts, and then take some efforts, and then come out with viable projects. They have banned about 15 companies from exporting, and all these companies, 15 companies, they're all exporting aquaculture products, aquaculture and shrimp products. So, but along with this, even if they supply any sea caught material, that also they have banned. So, I mean, the effect is not, it's manifold. One is the sampling frequency has been increased from 10% to 50%. Second one, they banned about 15 companies. Third is they not only banned the aquaculture product, but they also banned the sea caught material. Because in sea caught, I mean, the logic says it is God's given. It is naturally produced. Nobody is putting any feed or any antibiotics into the ocean. So it is free from antibiotics. So, but the European Union is banning those products. And one more is that they are not registering any new companies from India.
Okay.
Suppose if any new companies they want to export to European Union, they need their approval, that DG Sante's approval. And but because of this, they are not allowing any new companies also to do that. So these are the 4 issues we are fighting with, and I hope they will be resolved in a maybe very shortly. We are going to have a joint working group meeting between India and European Union probably next month or so. Aquaculture, the scope is unlimited. We have tremendous scope, but we have maybe not even 50% we have achieved our potential. So the potential is unlimited, so we can do. We have a lot of areas, coastal areas, around 8,000 kilometers of coastline we have. And then rivers, reservoirs, ponds, so many water bodies we have. So there is tremendous scope for increasing the aquaculture. So for aquaculture, what is required is we need to have good quality seeds, number one, seed. Then we have to feed the seeds on a day-to-day basis, maybe morning and evening, twice a day. We have to feed them, then only the culture takes place. So, and then for this, for aquaculture, what is required is the expansion of area. Area expansion is around 1,20,000, 25,000 hectares is the area covered under aquaculture in the country now. We need to double that. If you double that to 2.5 lakh hectares, then more production will take place, and more production means more exports.